The following is a presentation of the ERL Formula E World Series on Sparkplug Motorsports.
Welcome back to Formula E. Awful Catfish starts on pole from Puff and Revo. Then it's the Red Devils starting fourth from Daniel Bogdasarov and Cable, your top six. Outside of it is 19th in the standing Sebastian Ocampo from Marcus Nelson and Remy LeBeau. Running out the top 10 as well as Leclerc, with new driver in the ERL, Oinkro Ezra starting 11th. Then it's Scotland Rotak, Charles Hernandez, Nicholas Palomino and Enoch Yu. Then it's second in the standings, Linus Eriksson from Francis Austin and Salas Kynes. Oscar Falstad is 19th from Akari Lopez. Then it's back row of Baroness Jr. and Devin Butler. Well, it's been a while since we've been back in the top series of the ERL. The Paris ePrix gets underway now, and it's a good start from the pole man in Catfish on those soft tyres. Francis Austin's the only one to start this race on the hards, by the way. Puff didn't get the best getaway, and it's under threat from Revo heading down into turn number one. Revo with the toe, but not with the inside line, and that's what matters most. He drops down to fourth and now is fighting with the Red Devil. Your championship leader might be off the podium here, but he just about manages to hold on to that third position. Daniel Bogdasarov moves up into fourth for a second there. The Red Devil makes a lunge. We've got a track limits warning coming in for the driver of the 7 car, but Catfish still leads here in Paris as Akari Lopez has dropped to the very back of the pack after a woeful start indeed. Nicholas Palomino, look at how far off the track Charles Hernandez was forced by Scotland Rotak. Palomino's dropped to 15th, but what a start from the rookie in Oinkro Ezra, filling in for Tonali Gabo for the rest of the season, as Marcus Nelson now getting alongside with him and moving up into 9th position. But Ezra still with the inside line as we head on to the second lap. Of course, Oinkro replacing Gabo after the driver of the number 29 has said some very unsavory things. It's the same type of rhetoric that he stated before the Race of Champions, which got him kicked from that event, and now he's lost his Formula E drive as well. But out in front, it is still Catfish, leading from Puff and the Red Devil. Almost a second separating the top two as we get this very high shot. You can see how undulating this track is. Remy LeBeau, we go on board with the man in the 27 car as Akari Lopez has been given a 5-second time penalty. That man in the 27, the reigning champion, struggling in the Champ Car World Series in Formula E, his bread and butter. He's definitely doing a lot better than he is in Champ Car, but not really contending for the championship as much as we saw him do last season. He's gone winless throughout season 26. And we are still waiting for another successful title defense. And Eriksson losing out coming through that final turn there. We're on to lap 3 of 14. Oinkro trying to get himself back into the top 10, but he just doesn't have the pace compared to Lawless Leclerc there. The Red Devil now in front of his teammate. We're on board with the 9 of Puff. Can he try and get back past? Because those medium tyres objectively slower than the softs, so starting on the softs as most of the field has done, probably the smarter option, as here comes Daniel Bogdasarov past Revo going down the hill. Had to drink something there. Revo getting a second track limits warning. He gets 2 more and it's a 5-second time penalty. He's got his old teammate Cable right behind him. As we're on board with car number 89. There isn't an attack mode detection point going down that straight that leads into an activation point before the final turn. So this main straight is the only use of attack mode that these drivers have. As into the pits comes Bogdasarov first in the top 6 to do so. Cable now moves up into 6th position. Meanwhile, up front, Puff makes the lunge and takes the lead of this Paris ePrix in front of Awful Catfish, using the most of that attack mode. But here comes the man in the number 2 car. Catfish reclaims the lead. He's going for victory today after pole in this Paris ePrix. He's trying to give this Mission Winnow Power Motorsport team something to be proud of in Formula E. They've been doing well in Champ Car. They've been getting podiums there quite consistently with their experienced lineup. In Formula E, they have been struggling a lot more. But Catfish, after getting pole today, definitely that's the pick-me-up that the team needed. And he's now over a second in front of Puff. If he can continue with that gap, Puff's not going to get attack mode on the next lap. Remy LeBeau and Cable squabbling over 5th. Here comes Lawless Leclerc. Where's he come from? As they come through the final turn, one of the Power Motorsport cars is probably going to stay out. In comes Catfish and Puff. The Red Devil leads from Cable and Sebastian Ocampo. Many drivers coming into the pits. Oinkro Ezra, look at this! In the slipstream of Sebastian Ocampo, and alongside with Nicholas Palomino, somewhat wisely in my opinion, decides to lift off and not really try and fight that. In my opinion, that's probably the smartest thing to do in this situation, because to try and duel for that position the entire lap with aging medium tires, it's not really the best thing you can do. Francis Austin started outside of the top 10 on those hard tires. He's up into 10th position. Everyone roughly is coming to the pits for the hards, which might be able to take you to the end of the race. If they do so, well, we could be on for a grandstand finish between the drivers going for the 2-stop versus drivers going for the 1-stop. And Revo's been given a 5-second time penalty, track limits infringements for the man in the 7. That'll drop him down the order by the time of his next stop, or just in terms of his race time. Rotak and Babinas Jr. dueling over 11th, as Babinas Jr. himself getting a track limits warning. Many other drivers coming into the pits, but it is Sebastian Ocampo who leads on lap 6 of 14. We are approaching half race distance. Catfish is now up into 5th position. Francis Austin defends from his teammate after getting past him through turn 1, and I think Austin's going to hold on to that position. Catfish, after that stop, making the most of those fresh, soft tires, trying to close up to the back of Oscar Falstad. He's definitely a lot faster than it, and he's really closing the gap. I think he could try and get past, but I'm not too sure if that's exactly what you'd want to do at this stage. Waste so much of those soft tires on just trying to catch a guy who's going to come into the pit soon anyway. It doesn't seem like the smartest thing to do for me. Ocampo, Ezra, Austin, Falstad. These are the guys who are yet to stop. In comes Ocampo. Probably Ezra's in too. But which of the Toyota Gazoo drivers is going to get pit privilege? They're both staying out. It's a 1-2 for Toyota Gazoo Racing. This is a glory run at this point. They're waiting for a full course caution. Austin has relinquished the lead to his teammate. Oscar Falstad now leads here in Paris. They've got Catfish right behind him, on board with the driver of the 2 car from Malaysia, the Season 22 Formula E champion. His seat was in danger this season from Enoch Yu, who has gotten a podium already, I believe, in Abuja last time out. But now you can see exactly why Catfish wanted to stay at the team. But look at that front left tire. It's already beginning to grain up. There's blistering occurring, and he's let Puff get right behind him too. He's gotten past Francis Austin, who's still on those 7-lap-old hard tires. These guys are going to go 4 wide, 2x2 wide through the final turn. Catfish leads, and I think Falstad's going to pit, which will mean that Austin is going to have an 8-lap stint on his hard tires. 8 laps! That is impressive in my opinion. And he's still running in second. I think right now Austin's actually driving for position here. A lot of the guys who pitted onto the softs and mediums might have to pit a little later as Puff gets right past, but with a 3-second gap to Cable, Francis Austin might have pulled a blinder on the strategy front. Here comes Bogdasarov around the outside of Cable and up into 4th position. If you're wondering where your championship leader is, Revo is currently down in 10th. Nicholas Palomino struggled in Champ Car, struggled for the most part this season in Formula E, but now is running up in 9th. I know for the reigning Constructors' Championship winning team, that doesn't seem too impressive, but when you take into account that most of the drivers in front of him are Formula E champions, I think that's quite impressive, as U-Cable loses 4th, might even lose 5th here. In comes Austin. We're on to lap 9 of 14, 5 to the checkered flag. I think a lot of these guys are going to have to make a second stop here, side by side, down into turn number 1. Who's going to come out in front? I think it's going to be U-Cable with the inside line. And I think the Red Devil going to try and go for the move. Look at the pace that Nicholas Palomino's got in that number 93 car. He's up in 6th now. And I think as we ride on board with the Spaniard, he might get a pretty good run here. Alongside of Bogdasarov, he's going to make his way up into 5th position. Keeps it out of the wall. Good stuff from the Spaniard. That was an amazing pass. Just waiting for the correct opportunity. He found it. And he's now up in the top 5. And this time without a penalty, so he could go for his best career Formula E finish. I'm just thirsty is all. Remy LeBeau gets alongside with his fellow countrymen celebrating their home race. And I think Bogdasarov might pit. He's not, but Palomino is in. And I think Catfish also into the pits for his second stop. I think at this stage you can go for another set of softs and make it to the end of the race, which Catfish does. And this is where we're going to see those diverging strategies. The 1-stop versus the 2-stop. U-Cable moves up into the lead of this race around the outside of the Red Devil. But if you're on that 1-stop, well, you kind of need 4-lap hold, 3-lap hold, 5-lap hold if you're pushing it. Hard tyres. Daniel Bogdasarov, we don't think can make it to the end of this race. And for Remy LeBeau, it's going to take some immense tyre saving to make it to the end of his home race. Linus Eriksson's right behind him, but I don't think he's a real threat because look at the state of those softs. He's not making it to the end of this race on them. I don't think he's going to make it to the end of lap 11 with those soft tyres. Keep an eye on the mini-map, on the timing tower, to see where your favourite driver is. Here comes Eriksson down the inside, almost contact with Remy LeBeau. Thankfully, just about backs out of it. I think he's pitting. So is Remy. Remy LeBeau is coming to the pits after 5 laps on his hards. So this is almost certainly going to be a 2-stop race. If anyone is going to try and do the 1-stop, it's surely going to have to be Sebastian Ocampo. He's going to have to whisper to those tyres, hey, give me more pace. He's going to have to try and make it to lap 14 and do 7 laps, 8 laps on those hard tyres. And I think, taking a look at Francis Austin's stint, that is theoretically possible, but I don't think it's the best strategy to try and do. I think Falstad and Akari might have another stop in this race as well, running 10th and 11th. You can see this little conga line for 3rd position forming. Meanwhile, U-Cable is looking for the right opportunity to get past the Red Devil before they come into the pits. Bogdasarov holding up these guys, running in the top 3 in its home race. And now for Leclerc, here he comes. Dummies to the outside, goes to the inside instead. Remy LeBeau with a 3rd and final track limits warning. Here come the hyperdrives. Who's going to be in front? It's going to be Revo to P4. And both Bogdasarov and Leclerc into the pits. Revo and Ocampo stay out. And for Revo, you know, he's trying to extend as much as he can. And just to make sure that he can come in during a full course caution and get off of those hards and serve that 5-second time penalty. But I don't think he's going to do that. U-Cable leads the Paris ePrix with tyres that might not make it to the end. The top 5 are all going to be struggling on tyre wear. Can Catfish, who's 11 seconds down on his teammate, the race leader, can Catfish make his way back to the front? He's right behind 5th place Salos Kynes. And I was right in saying this is going to be the 2-stop versus the 1-stop. Ocampo with a 2nd track limits warning in 4th position, dueling with his teammate, it seems like. What can Catfish do coming through this long turn, this medium speed turn? And he goes to the inside. I think he's going to take 5th there. He does. He's in front of Salos. who might be coming into the pits. Rounding that final turn, Ocampo in front of his teammate. UK Ball stays out, the Red Devil stays out. Ocampo and Revo all staying out. Here comes Catfish and Uapuff, the tandem pair who are both doing the two-stop race. Can they make it to the checkered flag in front? Or will UK Ball, the Red Devil, Sebastian Ocampo and co all make it to the end and still get a brilliant finish? I don't think it's going to happen. Catfish has just taken out 4 seconds from UK Ball's lead on that past lap. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be very close as Catfish on the back of his former championship rival in Revo. It's still going to be a great finish for Power Motorsport nonetheless, as long as they don't have major contacts. And still, Catfish is being cautious here, I'm sure. He's trying to figure out where is the best place to have my car. Can I get past him down the inside as Remy LeBeau gets a 5-second time penalty for track limits? He can. He's up into 4th. He can see the podium right in front of him. Sebastian Ocampo runs 3rd. His teammate UK Ball starts the final lap of this Paris ePrix from the Red Devil and Sebastian Ocampo. 8-lap-old hard tyres versus 4-lap-old soft tyres. This is the point in time where those tyres are beginning to equalise. Here comes Uapuff with a monstrous lunge on the Malaysian driver, side by side in the dying moments of this race. But Catfish just about has it covered, and I think he won't be able to fight for the podium here. Here comes the 9. He's really squirming all over the back of the man who started this race on pole. Tried the two-stop strategy, but I don't think it's going to work out. 6 seconds is the gap as the Red Devil gets a 5-second time penalty for track limits infringement, so that means Catfish will be on the podium. It will be a 1-3 for Power Motorsport if all stays as is. But who knows at this rate? Rounding the final turn though, UK Ball for Power Motorsport. He's finally back on top. UK Ball takes victory in the Paris ePrix. And the fight for 3rd on the road has been won by Sebastian Ocampo, who gets a best finish of the season of 2nd once penalties get applied. 10 laps for Revo on that same set of the hards. My goodness. Leclerc with the fastest lap of a 101.9. Alright, me reading out that final fastest lap there got cut out. Bit unfortunate. Not as fortunate though as Power Motorsport today. They've got the 1-3 of dreams. UK Ball takes victory from Sebastian Ocampo and awful Catfish, and then considering that Ocampo races for Mission Winnow, Power Motorsport and Champ Car, technically you could say it's a Power Motorsport 1-2-3 on the Paris ePrix podium. Brilliant. As for the rest of your finishes, Uapuff is 4th from Francis Austin and the Red Devil. Then it's Silas Kynes, Oscar Forstad, Revo, and Marcus Nelson outside of the top 10. There's Linus Eriksson, Akari Lopez, Enochu, and Oinkro Ezra coming home in 14th in his debut race in the ERL. Nicholas Palomino is 15th from Devin Butler and Charles Hernandez. Then it's Daniel Bogdasarov, Lois Leclerc, Remy LeBeau, Babinus Jr. and Skatlin Rotak in the driver's standings. Revo leads the way. He's 30 points in front of his old teammate UK Ball. Then it's Linus Eriksson tied with Uapuff, Awful Catfish, the Red Devil, Francis Austin, Remy LeBeau, Charles Hernandez and Sebastian Ocampo, your top 10. Outside of it, Oscar Folstad from Leclerc, Enochu and Marcus Nelson. Then it's Daniel Bogdasarov, Silas Kynes, Nicholas Palomino, Akari Lopez, Oinkro Ezra, and Inet Babinus Jr. with the 2 Mahindras still yet to score in the constructors' standings heading into the 6th race of the championship. DS Hyperdrive lead the way on 103 points from Power Motorsport and Panasonic Jaguar Racing. MS Emlyn Andretti is 4th from Toyota Gazoo Racing and Red Bull Sims Porsche. Dragon Racing are 7th from Team Edams Renault and Pinnacle Motorsport. Then it's Mercedes EQ and still yet to score Mahindra Racing. We will see you guys next time then when the ERL returns.
Sparkplug Motorsports thanks you for watching this presentation of the Electric Racing League.